Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That to Shoot, my weekly show where I talk about the good and bad in the world of professional wrestling. Although sometimes we do predictions before our pay-per-views, and with NXT Takeover Vengeance Day happening this Sunday, this is those predictions. The first match for the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Final. MSK taking on the Grizzled Veterans. MSK used to be the Rascals. Impact Wrestling, they've come to WWE and NXT, and taking the world by storm, so to speak. Um, I don't particularly have any. I don't know. I haven't seen anything special from them yet. Maybe in this finals I will. Because one veterans, they were in the finals last year, so one would think that they would, one would think they would win this year. But with that being said, I think the they get a shot at the NXT Tag Champions, which are Lorcan and Birch, and they are also, they are heels, and make sure MSK would be very pleased, even though they have not in this pandemic era, they've not been shy of doing heel matches. But I just think this makes more sense. MSK and and the thing at the takeover before WrestleMania or whenever. So I think we're gonna pick MSK to win and become the winners of the 2021 Dusty Tag Team Classic Finals for the men's. Here he goes to Pittsburgh, play with his brothers, and they, put that defense out. Goes somewhere else, needs the best place in the winning championship. Maybe he goes to Tampa, maybe he goes to um, Los Angeles, play with Donald, play next to Donald. That would be something that's interesting. So, in the women's Dusty Road Tag Team Classic Finals, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Now, these will get a shot at the women's tag team champions, also held by two heels, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And obviously, that can always change. That can always change more than I think the NXT titles could. Um, so Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are more than a worthy thing here. And I think they see something in Raquel, and they're trying to get her over because she won the feud with Rhea Ripley and everything like that. So I think they see something in her. I don't see why anybody would see anything in Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. I can't get over the every time I see Shotzi Blackheart, I can't get over the story that I heard on one of Jim Cornette's podcasts where she was selling her bowel movements for money. I mean, it's anyway. This, this might be more of a hard overhead pick, but I think it really needs to be Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, and then they'll figure out a way. They'll either do the heel versus heel thing, or they'll take the titles off of Nia Jackson and and uh, and uh, and Shayna Baszler, and they'll put them on Lana and Naomi, and then they'll face Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. So. The winners of the first ever Women's Dusty Tag Team Classic Finals will be Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. In the NXT Women's title match, Io Shirai defends her title in a triple threat match versus Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez was a part of the group Retribution, but she decided it wasn't for her, so they took her out of the group and she made her way back to NXT. She redebuted by jumping Io Shirai and beating her up, putting her on notice that she was back and she was coming for that women's title. And then in the first round, the Dusty Classic, Storm and Martinez, who was a tag team, yet basically getting screwed over as Io Shirai, screwed her back, and get Mercedes back and caused them to lose to Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. This has led to Toni Storm wanting revenge on Io Shirai and taking away from her what she took away from him, and that was a shot at a championship. So she wants to take away the women's title, although Mercedes Martinez have been there first, and that has now triple head, going into this triple threat match. Mercedes Martinez is a long time person who's been in the business for 20 some odd years, and she's looking at her shot at holding a championship. Toni Storm, she's a she's a sex symbol for a certain portion of the audience, big time. Um, but she's more than that. She is a fantastic worker. We've seen her do what she can do, and she she lost the first she lost around the first time in the Mae Young Classic, but the second Mae Young Classic she actually won it. She went to her way and she won it. So she's had championship goals. She won the women's UK title in NXT. So she knows what she's doing. Io Shirai has held that title for almost a year now, and um, so I think it all depends on it all depends on what's going to happen at WrestleMania. I think for a couple of these title matches, I think are we going to get a NXT takeover? We're not going to get one obviously before WrestleMania because it's going back to 2 nights. Unless it's a Friday night or something like that. So, but will NXT be a part of WrestleMania? Like last year, will the women's title be defended at WrestleMania? Will the men's, will the American, will the tag title, will they be defended at WrestleMania? One would say you got 2 nights. At least the men and the women's title match maybe should be defended, right? Um, but I'm not sure. Because I was saying, because if that would happen, I could see I could see them keeping the title on Io Shirai until then. Um, Rather than not, then there could be an opportunity to where we could have a women's title change, depending on Storm or Martinez. The Sunday. But I don't know. But I just think that when you talk about, what's the most ideal situation, I think no matter what situation, um, Io Shirai right now retains the women's championship. I don't think there's anybody, even though they made Martinez a threat, and they put in Toni Storm. If the next women's champion is not Raquel Gonzalez, I don't know what they're really doing. Because that's the only one that seems like to me that would be the right call. Again, even though I can see them putting the title on Storm or Martinez, you know, I think the next women's championship should be Gonzalez. So I'm going to say Io Shirai retains her NXT Women's Championship. Johnny Gargano takes on Kushida for the NXT North American Championship. The thing here is that this has been brewing for months, but Kushida has foiled the plans of Johnny Gargano seemingly each and every week. Uh, I forgot how it actually started, but Kushida has then taken it upon himself to foil Johnny Gargano's plans at each and every point and step in the way. So, no pun intended. So it only can seem like this comes down to a now final battle at NXT Takeover, Gargano versus Kushida. This could be one of those things where, again, just like the women's championship, you could see it. If you maybe see it change if there is no, if there was no Takeover. There is no takeover. Excuse me. There's no takeover, and I don't think the North American Championship would be defended at WrestleMania. So you can see maybe a championship match. Hold on. Apologize for that. I just think like I was talking about, if there was a takeover, I could see Johnny Gargano holding it to takeover. I reckon I see Kushida winning if they really, I think they maybe see something in Kushida, you know. But I also think that they're gonna try to give Johnny Gargano a long title run, you know. I think that's what they're gonna do. I think at some point they're gonna use the North American title to push Johnny Gargano back into the main title picture. So I think Johnny Gargano stays North American champion. For the NXT Championship, Finn Balor takes on Pete Dunne. It's a long time coming for Pete Dunne. Apparently, this is what many of the people in Europe have wanted to see for years. The Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor. We're going to see it this Sunday at Takeover. Finn Balor has been the champion for several months now, dealing with a broken jaw and other injuries and things like that. Great feud with, great 2 matches with Kyle O'Reilly. Pete Dunne, has come back and he's done his thing, same thing as well. And he's been with the Orny and Birch and all of those guys and McAfee and everything like that. I will say that maybe Pete Dunne doesn't need to be one of the talkative guys. Maybe just keep his things short and sweet to one line or two. I think when he goes past that, it becomes a little bit more repetitive and frozen and things like that. He's not able to give up a lot of the emotion that, and maybe that's a gimmick. Maybe he tries to be emotionless, but if that's it, then fine. Then just don't have him talk. Don't have him talk. Have him be the mute. There's no reason for him to talk then. This should be a pretty good match. This should be a great one. I think this would be hard hitting, and we should have some fun with watching this. I think Finn Balor holds this until WrestleMania. I do think the NXT title will be defended at WrestleMania. I think it'll probably be Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross will he will retain his championship, and I think I think when Vince sees him, I think Vince will have him lose the title within 2 months, so they bring him up to the main roster. Um, but yeah, I think Finn Balor wins here, and I think he defeats Pete Dunne, retains the NXT championship. Now, takeovers are known for their surprises, their new debuts and things like that. But that is normally with a massive crowd, right? To get some of that pop. We saw it many times with Keith Lee, Ricochet, Matt Riddle, and many others, right? So, in the Capitol Wrestling Center with minimal actual fans, and of course the lights around the thing, will we see a debut? I'm going to say no, we will not. We will not see a debut of a reigning star or anything else. All right, so to recap, MSK wins the men's Dusty Classic. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez wins the women's Dusty Classic. Io Shirai, Johnny Gargano, and Finn Balor all retain their championships, and there will be no new debut also going on. So there you have it. Those are my predictions for this weekend's Takeover Vengeance Day. Make sure you click that notification bell, because when I go live afterwards for every reaction, we can talk about it together. So make sure you click the notification bell. So until then, post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about my predictions. What are your predictions for Takeover Vengeance Day? And what anything else you think about NXT? Put it down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.